My name is Michele. I have a very varied background in terms of what I've done, from professional fundraising to working with homeless women, doing career planning, uh, working with at-risk teenagers, and now managing the Senior Companion Program. Senior Companion Program is part of the Senior Corps under the Corporation for National and Community Service. We have 73 senior companions that go out into the community and spend time with homebound seniors. So absolutely love our program. We love what we do. I have 3 children, 18, 19, and 21. Kathleen, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself?
Okay, my name is Kathleen Stuart. I'm a program coordinator with the Senior Companion Program. Thank you all very much for joining us. I have been with the Senior Companion Program for 4.5 years. It has been just an absolute delight and pleasure to be a part of it. Helping homebound seniors is so rewarding. I'm sure hopefully a lot of you have experience with that as well. I have 3 children myself, 2 boys, both teenagers, and a little girl who's 7. She's a handful. But that's about it for me. Thanks again for joining.
So everybody's probably heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The first time I heard about it was probably in high school sociology class, and it's something that I've always found super interesting. If you're not familiar with it, it's basic needs, and we're going to go through each one of them and how it works. It's a 5-tier model of human needs, and it looks like a pyramid. You must satisfy the lower levels before you can go up the pyramid. Today, we are not aiming to preach at you. This is something that a lot of people are very familiar with. We've all had a dose of it, but it's something that I use in my personal and professional life when regarding what I'm doing for work. So that's why we wanted to share this with you today. What is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs? So for me, this almost isn't quite correct because it looks too smooth, whereas I think of them more as steps. You have to climb the steps from the bottom to the top. At the bottom, you have your very base needs. Did we change slides? So it's a pyramid of needs that all human beings must fulfill to be happy. We work with volunteers. We have 73 senior companions. So we know that to create highly happy and motivated workforce for the staff to be productive, we want to meet their needs. Our senior companions are all low-income individuals. So knowing that means that their needs may be different from the people that they visit with. We call them visitees, because those people don't have financial limitations. So really knowing somebody's situation can help define what their needs will potentially go towards. We want to, really help them to meet their needs and set them up for success. I think of this as, again, not so much a pyramid that's smooth, but with steps. And I think about working with seniors. Falling down the stairs is terrifying. It could be devastating. When you fall down the stairs, you go back to some very base needs. Every step is something that you have to focus on before you move up that staircase. So yes, we take steps down, but we just don't want someone to get knocked all the way back down to have to climb back up. So what can we do to support people to climb and to make themselves have a better situation and to have self-fulfillment? I want everyone to be happy. We're not a job. We're a volunteer position where, someone's happiness is pivotal, because otherwise they're going to leave. They're not going to stay with us. I need to make sure that they are healthy and happy.
Okay, so the bottom part of the pyramid is the primary and basic needs, or survival needs. They're called physiological needs according to the pyramid. So these are the need for food, drink, oxygen, sleep, warmth. At the bottom of the slide, you'll see breathing, food, water, sex, sleep, homeostasis, and excretion. These are all needs that must be fulfilled before we can move up onto the next step of the pyramid. And as we all know, people go through great lengths to achieve these basic needs. And if a person is starving, for example, it will override, their overriding priority will be to find food, and all other needs will fade compared to these basic needs. And that will include shelter and sometimes, warmth from the cold. So they're the biological requirements of human survival, and if they're not met, the human body can't function optimally. So these are the most important needs for folks as far as Maslow's hierarchy goes. So when working with seniors, one thing that we see a lot is folks who don't have enough food or no way of getting food. So, there are all kinds of resources that you can line them up with, Meals on Wheels, or our program can help with grocery shopping, things like that. If the living situation is not safe, maybe they're not able to climb the stairs to get to the bathroom, or maybe the house is in just such disrepair that they just can't live safely. These are all physiological basic needs that need to be accomplished before moving on to the next stage. Maybe they don't have enough appropriate clothing. Maybe they don't have the medical equipment or medical attention that they need to live healthy, safely in their homes. Do they have pain? Do they have the resources they need, whether it be financial or weather type issues, heat, cold? Are they able to keep themselves cool over the summer? These are all physiological needs that need to be met.
Think about your own program, maybe in the chat box, just so we can kind of get an idea. What are some examples from your program or your life situation that you're experiencing with individuals in terms of physiological needs? So, kids that don't have beds, absolutely. Lots of homelessness, certainly. Losing everything to a house fire. Those are very base. It makes you go down. It doesn't matter how self-fulfilled you are in your life. Something like that happens, devastating. You're starting at the very beginning. So if you have staff experiencing that, if you have a colleague, if somebody in your program, those are all going to put you right back at the start of these base.
Okay.
So again, we have two kind of different groups that when we thought about this presentation, how do we look at it? And we really have two very different groups of people that we provide services with. There's the volunteers, who again have to be low income, and the clients, we call them again visitees, who the average age is 90, so they have their own issues. Kathleen?
So ways that we support and motivate folks in our program, like Michele said, that are volunteers and or visitees to promote these physiological needs are providing food at the in-services, for example. At least we know they're getting one good meal. We try our best to get good food for them. In orientations, we provide the equipment they need to hear and see us appropriately. We give them personalized schedules so that they have the opportunity to know where they're supposed to be. We know where they are. And also the income disregard. So these are folks who receive a stipend for their services, and this is it's important for different assistance like rent and things like that they know that this is not considered income because it will affect their benefits. So these are all things that help support that physiological need. The stipend, of course, is a big help. It's only $3 an hour, but it's something. And then recognition. So during recognition events, we do our very best to offer some type of token, if you will. In the past, we've given gift cards, Visa gift cards, gas cards, market basket cards, things of that nature. And then the open door policy is another way. I think that's one of our strengths. We are very available to our volunteers. We now all have cell phones. We also have a secretary now who helps us 20 hours a week, and that we encourage them to approach us if they have questions, concerns, even if it's a personal matter that can affect their role. We want to know, we want to help.
And we need to listen to them, because when I started, I got a whole bunch of swag. I got water bottles that said Senior Companion. I got blankets. I got things that I thought were useful as well as branded. And they came back to me and they said, what we really could use, what we really want is just a gift card. We need the gas money. We need the Walmart, gift card to pick up those items if we don't necessarily have enough money. So, really listening to what I wanted to give them wasn't necessarily what was best for them.
So clients, and of course clients are different for all of us. For us, as we call them, like Michele said, visitees, primarily seniors who are homebound, or sometimes caregivers even, who are providing respite to. We can connect them to referral sources like Meals on Wheels, fuel assistance, weatherization, transportation, as we all know, is a huge, huge need. So that's a big of ours. When we can help, we will. But these are all things that we can help to, especially now during COVID, we see it more than ever, for just getting people the basic necessities to keep them healthy and okay at home.
These are needs that can predict chaos and anxiety. These can only be met after you get through your base needs. Once you have sufficient food, heat, shelter, then you can start looking for safety. How can I feel safe and secure? First, you generally will look for safety from physical danger. And then, so because you want to be free from fear. It's kind of like protecting children from abuse. Society needs to take the burden off the elderly by addressing their safety needs. We have a lot of seniors that have some big safety concerns. Kathleen, you want to go through some of the concerns?
Oh, okay, so as again with elderly folks, you see that they're very vulnerable to fraud. We've seen sadly situations where we have one woman, 93 years old, forced down into the basement of her own house while her son lives upstairs. Are they dropped off in a heat wave on the side of the road? Is it an unsafe living situation? Are there issues around fall risks in the home? Those kinds of things.
Hi, Michele. We had a couple of questions from the last section, and I'm sorry I missed it. So one is, does the step analogy really mirror most people's experience that they're only in one need at the same time?
You know, I personally think that you have to meet one need at a time. Really, I know that if I don't have 4 walls or at least a tent, I'm not going to feel safe. I'm not going to feel safe sleeping under the stars. I'm going to be worried about bugs. I'm going to be worried about animals. This is not, carved in stone. This is not me being the expert on this subject. This is just my personal experience. And in terms of sex as a basic need, again, I don't even think we said it out loud because I'm not sure even the person that generally that we found that slide that we put together, I'm not even sure if they meant sex in terms of procreation or if they meant in terms of the actual physical act of sex. I think it's more procreation, the need to continue your species, but that's just my interpretation. Again, this is just an open discussion on something that I enjoy. I think it's interesting. I thought it was funny too, though, when I saw sex as a basic need. All right. How about during a pandemic? What issues are we experiencing regarding safety, especially now? Anybody want to throw in the chat box? All right. So what are we thinking about for safety? What are the issues that you're experiencing? It's going so fast. It's now a chore to go anywhere. Absolutely. You got to suit up. It's like wintertime in New England, but worse. Community-based services. Absolutely. I know that we have continued, but my program is shut down. Senior companions are not actively supporting the community right now. And I do hate the masks. All right. Next slide. So how can we look at safety concerns and what can we do to help motivate people? Because that's our whole goal, is to motivate and to keep them on board. If I'm not going to motivate my volunteers, if I'm not going to give them things that will make them want to do this, then they're going to find another organization. They're not going to continue with my program. So Kathleen, what can we do?
Well, we offer personal time to our volunteers. And that gives them an opportunity to take a break. And as we know, self-care is super important for everyone, regardless of what you do. We also have additional insurance, which is a big perk, if you will. That's one of the big questions we get when we are enrolling new volunteers. You know, how am I covered? Am I going to be safe if I get in an accident with a visit key in my car? Things of that nature. We do the background checks. We do trainings. Again, those personalized schedules, those are important. We know where they are at all times. They know who to call if there's an emergency, those kinds of things. And then we also always do our initial introduction with a new visitee with that companion. So they'll never be going out to someone's whole house alone, at least for the first time. This way we can fade out anyone that doesn't look like they live in a safe situation for whatever reason. We can be there to support that person. As far as clients or visitees, we call them, you know, we have made strides in this area. I think making sure that folks are know where you're coming from as far as having a name tag on, making sure that, you know, we're assigned, people are aware that we're assigned to this individual. We're not just some stranger showing up in a locked building looking to get in and take this person out and about. We do criminal background checks. We also call BEAS when we have to, which is the Bureau of Elderly and Adult Services, Adult Protective Services intake line. Unfortunately, we do use that resource when we need to. Respite, we also provide a break for loved ones who are caregivers, and that gives them the opportunity to go out and not have to worry about their loved one. They're safe, they're being supervised. And so that's a huge piece of our program. And then, of course, referrals to other agencies like REAP, which is Referral, Education, Assessment, Prevention. As we all know, that's a wonderful resource. ServiceLink, another great resource, and any other agencies that we may have to refer them to. So these are all things that we can help them with to maintain their safety.
Safety is just such an interesting topic. One of the things that I really brought on board was the lanyards. I thought that was very important. And, you know, just things will come up. It's like, oh, this makes sense. We now have all their schedules. I know their schedules are fluid and they can't change, but I need to know where somebody is. If there's an emergency, I can contact them. There's different things that we need to do. And again, we have two different groups of people that we're trying to make sure they're safe. And I want to say, I looked back at the chat box, and somebody was talking about sex in terms of a base need, companionship, vulnerability. And I think that that's fabulous. What tools can we use to motivate, especially with COVID-19 being on the forefront of all our minds? Smear you. So we've sent every volunteer 2 cloth masks, and then we gave them enough for disposable masks for their clients. When they start again, we know that they have the tools to be set up to be safe. We've expanded another portion of our program that we're now calling telephone reassurance, because we need to make sure people are safe. I want these companions calling their people every week, not just for the sake of the visitees, but for their own sake too. It keeps them safe. It keeps them knowing somebody's depending on me. I need to do this. And that gives somebody a sense of safety that if I don't call, they're going to wonder where I am. So it's kind of a win-win. What do you do to motivate with safety during COVID? Let's talk COVID specific, because this is right now our life. As much as we don't like it, it's here. What are you guys doing for safety with COVID?
All right, next we're going to talk about love and belonging. Oh, it's about love. Kathleen shares about love. Okay. So for human beings, the need to reach out and form relationships with other human beings is imperative. The need to love and be loved in return, to express affection and caring for others, and the need to feel cared for and nurtured in return. This need is more about having a close relationship. Someone mentioned sex, and I think you're on the right track there as well. The need is more often to have a close relationship, in which we define as love. It's about contact with friends, colleagues, neighbors, and the opportunity to cooperate and work alongside others. So as we can see with COVID, this has really put a wrench in the works as far as our need to belong and our interaction with other human beings. The opportunity to cooperate and work alongside others is not always an option. So we're doing things like virtual meetings. Most individuals don't like the feeling of being an outsider or not being accepted by a group. Look at being a teenager, these poor teenagers nowadays. we don't want to be a teen in this day and age for all the tea in China. There's a lot of belonging that, you know, doesn't always come with good means. And so this is something that, you know, is part of that as well. Failure to make relationships is likely to make people feel very badly about themselves. The need to form those relationships with other human beings becomes important only after basic needs and safety and security needs have been achieved. So you can see the pyramid forming here. Physiological needs are formed, then the safety is in place, and now we feel that we can reach out and develop those relationships. So what does that mean? Lack of love and belonging. So, you know, working with seniors, unfortunately, they lose a lot of the people that are close to them in their lives. They lose a spouse, they lose family members, maybe they switch roles. They're no longer a spouse, they're a caregiver. These are all things that they have to adjust to. Maybe their spouse has dementia and they're really not like their spouse anymore, so they have to cope with that as well. Maybe they're socially isolated. Their inability to get out and about into the community and being homebound has a big part of their ability to maintain those relationships.
If you look, I think everybody is really experiencing what it means to be socially isolated now. I think that this is, at least for my program, this is really bringing to light something that people have been struggling with for a long time. Our program, I like to think that for my program, this is the base need that's most important. We are called the Senior Companion Program. When I first started, I had some companions that were just dropping their visitee off at the door at the grocery store, sitting in their car for an hour, and then driving them home. Well, that's not companionship. That's an Uber. That's not okay. So I said, listen, maybe the person doesn't feel like they need you to babysit them, but go in the store. Walk around. You don't have to be right next to them, but check on them. Make sure they're okay. Make sure that they know that you guys are like a match set. You guys belong to each other. You're doing things together. We are not a taxi service. We're not here just to bring you to the store and then drive you home. We're here because we want you to have a meaningful relationship. Did we do the slide yet? No. All right, go ahead.
So tools to motivate folks within love and belonging. Some of the ways that we do this within our program is, for our volunteers at least, we have a recognition event. And I'm telling you, these recognition events are wonderful. It's just a sense of camaraderie and love and just, it's a wonderful, wonderful time to have all of our volunteers together to feel like they're a part of something bigger. We have other events during the year. We have a summer event where we take them out. We have a barbecue on the beach up at Wellington State Park. We have station meetings where we get together every month and we talk about the people we visit and make sure that their needs are being met. But it's a good time to just touch base with everybody. We also have the swag Michele was talking about. So every one of our companions has a senior companion backpack and a senior companion this and that and the other. Yes, they might not appreciate it as much, but it's part of their belonging to our program, to our team. And so that's something we all share. Congregate dining. When we have our trainings and in services and things, we have a nice meal together, which is a pretty intimate thing as far as human interactions go. So that's always a big deal for us as well. The open door policy, again, I think that's important. Talking about encouraging them to come to us if they have questions, concerns. We want them to feel that it's appropriate and okay to reach out to us with concerns and questions. We work with people. Everyone's situation is different. We send birthday cards. Sometimes we're better about this than others, but sending birthday cards is a huge way to make them feel like, you know what, someone remembered me. And maybe their son or daughter didn't, but we did it. We remembered their birthday. Another big part of our program, matching companions with folks who have similar interests. Talk about love and belonging. These two people that love to knit together, they love to go, maybe they go to the same restaurant every visit, things like that. They have this in common. They have this bond, if you will. The other thing we do with clients is we can bring them to nursing homes to visit with loved ones that no longer live with them. That's a huge way to maintain those relationships and friendships and things. Playing games, watching movies, doing things that are enjoyed by both parties. Autonomy, the need to perceive that they have choices, that what they're doing is on their own volition. So it's their choice. It's something that they've decided they'd like to do. And also these consistent schedules, I think, are huge too, where our volunteers during that 2 or 3 hours or 4 hours, you are my volunteer and we are going to do, what I want to do. It's a very personalized time frame, and it's only for that one person. And they're based on the needs and preferences of that person, which is important too. So
I think the autonomy, the perception of choices, at least, when somebody's 90 years old and they don't feel like they don't have a lot of choices, I want to give them some freedom to feel like they're making their own decisions. And if it's not the right volunteer for them, that's okay. We find them somebody that they feel like is a friend, somebody that can work for them. So what are you guys doing? What tools do you have to motivate? And just looking back at the ones from safety, recycling air, fantastic. I love that somebody's sending them notes each week. We did that too. We sent everybody a little letter. And some of my companions, they're supposed to be calling their visitees, but some of them say, Michele, I just don't like being on the phone. But all right, well, do you like getting mail? I like getting mail as long as it's not a bill. So I said, I'll send you some stationery. Why don't you start writing weekly? And she's so excited. We found a way to resolve the problem. She doesn't want to be on the phone, but she said she wrote like a 3-page note to the person just saying hi. So how can you motivate people within whoever it is that your clientele is? What are you doing to motivate in the chat box?
Michele, we have a couple of questions mostly around the current pandemic. So whether or not these volunteer events are happening, and also how to have these celebrations in this time, but still be safe.
Oh, yes. So we were supposed to have a recognition event on May 1st, but we are having a non-event event. Now, don't tell our companions because there's some secrets here. Our non-event consists of, we called every one of the people that they visit with and we asked them, can you please write a meaningful letter about your relationship with your companion? We each wrote a letter. We asked their station managers to write. We asked anyone that we work with, can you write a letter to the companions saying how valued they are? And we're tying those up with a little bow. We're giving them some gift cards. We're getting just a little bag of things. And when we meet for our universal training, universal precautions training, we'll be giving them out. But no, we haven't physically seen anybody, and there are no events happening right now. Program is shut down. All right, struggling with having celebrations during the pandemic. Again, we're doing a non-event event. I wish that more people had access to email, with our average senior companion being 74 years old. I only have 48 that have email, and a lot of them don't even really understand email. They don't check it regularly. So that's really not an option. I wish we could do a Zoom meeting with them every week just to say, hi, how are you? We miss you. It's not something that we can do at this time. So we're doing a non-event event, and that's what it's called. And I kind of think it's fun.
And we also did, and I am really excited about it, we did a program, and it's kind of a yearbook style program where all of the companions are featured, their names, their picture, their years of service, their name, and of course the folks that have been with us 10 years or more have been recognized with stars and little things like that. We also put a lot of pictures about over the past year, our different events that we had. We also had a section called "And the Winner Is," and it's who has the best car, who has the best clothes. It's cute. And
we tried to focus more on the emotional though. She said those things, but we said who has the best sense of humor.
That kind of, it wasn't just superficial things. But really, and then Michele and I each wrote a message. And what else do we have?
We're making bird feeders.
We're making, so that program was really, I think, a good, hopefully it will connect us all. Again, that belonging is big in that we're all a part of something together. And then the bird seed, we're making a labor of love. Mason jars. We got bird seed donated by Home Depot. We're going to make bird feeders with gelatin and bird seed and give them a jar with bird feeders in it so they can hang it out for people. Sorry, for birds, not for people. And so it's just little things like that to make them feel connected and appreciated and valued. So,
all right, and I'm just looking at the questions. On the very last slide, we will have our contact information. So we're happy to share that with you. That will be on the last slide. Next question, should people who want to volunteer but have comorbidities be screened out? Our volunteers, you really have to meet certain criteria. It's very, very specific. We really, our volunteers, I've triaged, I figured out who is ready to go, who isn't. We're not even thinking about starting this back up till at the earliest, early August. We're waiting, we're watching. Is everybody going to be safe by doing this? I don't want people in the cars together yet because that doesn't maintain 6 feet. So we are still just laying low. We're kind of letting the rest of the state open before we make any decisions to move forward, just because the last thing I need is any of my people having issues. So again, we're letting our volunteers determine if they feel safe for when they do start volunteering again. We are not bringing on new people right now. I have 3 gentlemen that I had done every shred of getting them ready when this hit, and they just need orientation, and it's not happening. We have lost people for the program because of the pandemic. This is something that if somebody, I have some people that are ready to go, and I have some people that say, hey, I have diabetes, I have cancer, I have something underlying, I might not be ready when the program reopens. And that's okay. We have paid time off, and if they need to take time off for an additional few weeks, that's an option.
While you guys are doing that, another question. If anyone knows of, maybe this is a chat thing if you folks don't have the answer on hand, but anyone knows of who might donate or loan tablets or laptops and access to elders who cannot afford them, because it's a barrier.
Well, I know that in one of our webinars that we attended a few weeks ago, there was a resource, and I can look into it for you, about technology. And it's specifically a grant for folks who were affected by COVID. And it actually offered, I think, either monetary or actual technological equipment for folks. So if whoever is interested in that information, if you want to email us, I can look back and see if I can find that. But it was a grant specific to technology resources for COVID, during COVID.
Yeah, but we don't know of anybody offhand that donates.
No.
Or loans them out.
The picture up top there, that is from our holiday party last year, and we gave them all mittens. And so the picture is of all of our senior companions at the Puritan back room holding up their blue mittens. And it was just wonderful. A wonderful, wonderful moment for us all. So I thought that was a nice one to include as far as the belonging piece of our presentation.
All right, next slide. Ready? Again, we for our non-event, these letters. Oh, these letters. Did you bring any letters? No. Grab your letters. The letters that we got are. When I was young, I was very involved in the church, and we had this thing that was called palanca, and that is when you got like basically a love letter from your family member or from friends, just saying how much they valued you and how much they cared, and something that's tangible that you can go back and reread, and that's kind of what motivated this. Originally, we were going to actually videotape and have that at this meeting. Obviously, the meeting was canceled. So we're just doing it by letters. And what we're doing is, again, we're calling everybody and we got the letters. So Kathleen's going to read to you a few notes. Hi, my name is so-and-so. My companion's name is blah, blah. I have had her for about 8 months. My companion is super helpful. I really love her company. She's always a great listener, and I love our time talking and laughing. It makes my day.
Yes, sorry for the delay here. So part of the program that we were talking about earlier was a section called Word on the Street. And what we did was we took some great quotes from all of these letters. We must have almost 200 letters, which is so impressive, as you can see in the picture. And that's a couple days ago before we had more. But some really great quotes. Just to let you and others know how much having you as a companion has meant to me. You're the best in doing all this for me. You have always had a very compassionate, professional, and non-judgmental attitude, which I admire and respect. Quotes like, please know that what you do does not go unnoticed. Even if the one you care for cannot say thank you, know that you are truly appreciated, you are respected, you are valued, and we are truly grateful for all of your time and patience. And that's from a gentleman who's both of his parents are on hospice, and he's their primary caregiver for both of them. So we provide respite to him. And so these quotes just mean a lot. These letters mean a lot. You cannot replace them. There's no replacement for these handwritten letters. So that's just one thing we did to motivate.
And honestly, after this is over, I'm using these to market the program. I'm using these to share with the community. This is what we do. Don't you want to be part of this? Don't you want to be a senior companion? This is something that it's something that we can use again and again. It's just a beautiful tribute too. So now we're up to esteem. All right, who's on this? This is me. Maslow talks about self-esteem, and when you look at self-esteem, there's really two different ways of viewing esteem. There's having esteem for yourself, dignity, achievement, mastery. You know, knowing that you're good at things, like just from your own perspective. And then there's getting esteem from the community. Are you respected? You know, are you valued in the community? Do people look to you as somebody that can go to whatever the job that you do? Maybe you're a really good accountant and you're very respected and valued, and you're the go-to person if it comes to a certain type. And Maslow did indicate that the need for respect and reputation, it's most important with young people. It's not so much seniors. As we age, we tend to take that from within. We don't need the validation of others, though it does feel good. Because feeling good about yourself, and this has to do with your life experience and the confidence that you had growing up. So it's very hard to fix somebody's self-esteem by the time they're 70. This is something that hopefully they've been able to work on as a younger person, but there's nothing worse than having somebody, one of my 70-year-olds, just feel like they never felt valued. They never felt like they were good enough to do anything. And when I say, wow, you are a great companion, I can't believe your compassion. Some of them, really, they haven't done too much in terms of, professional jobs, and they just feel good. So what are you guys doing? I'm not good at this changing slides. All right, examples. Kathleen, you want to jump in, or is it still me? Are they contributing to the world as a senior companion? They are contributing. They're giving back, and they say so many times, this gives me a reason to get up every morning. Doing for others helps me feel so much better about myself. I mean, it reminds me of Stuart Smalley, Saturday Night Live. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. Because we all want to be liked. We all want to be accepted. Some more so than others. All right, let's open up the chat. At 54, it's something I still struggle with. Hey, I'm 49. I still struggle with it too. That's why we need the first 20 years, pivotal. We need to work on it. Anybody else? Are you doing anything to support your people when it comes to esteem? How can you make them feel good about themselves? Give them opportunities to succeed. Absolutely. Within our group, one of the first things I did was I found the people that I felt were some of the stronger companions, people that followed the policy, people that didn't just drop someone off at the door, and I made them the senior companion leaders. I kind of gave them that title Does it mean more pay? No. Does it mean anything? No. But it was my way of saying, hey, you're really valuable and I need to lean on you. I want you to be somebody to support me. I might be the program manager, but that doesn't mean I have all the answers. It means I value what you have to share with me. You've been doing this for a lot longer.
And I think another thing that we've recently started doing that promotes this self-value is we actually invite our volunteers to come and speak to new companions who are orienting. So we hand select the folks that are just really, that stand out, like Michele said. They come in and talk about their experiences, answer questions, and it's all firsthand, you know, and I think it's a very valuable for our oncoming companions, but also I think it makes them feel good about themselves that they've been asked to do this.
Tools to motivate. Well, esteem, all right. It can be especially important too for late adults. They tend to correlate respect with freedom. All right, so again, like I said, they're contributing to society. We do the recognition. In terms of the visitees, very different types of things. When the companions play games with them, they often let them win. They are so good about engaging them and giving them positive feedback to make them feel good about themselves. You know, not that we want to treat elderly and senior individuals as children, but we sometimes need to be a little bit more gentle, because if they're in their 80s and 90s, you know, let them win, let them have that. I hate losing. Let them win occasionally. Resources. Somebody can feel good about themselves if they know that they can take care of their own problems. So as we train our companions in resources, they in turn share that with the community. And that really shows them that they can take care of these needs, that they don't have to be alone. There are no limitations. They just didn't know the services available.
I think it's all about really equipping them with the appropriate resources and tools they need to themselves be successful, but also equipping them to take care of the clients that they visit as well. And also, I think another thing too is focusing on the person's abilities and not their limitations. One of my pet peeves is, oh, mom can't knit anymore, or she can't color anymore, her arthritis is too bad. There's no such thing as can't. There's a way to modify that to make it doable for her. So let's do watercolor instead. Let's do this, that, or the other. Modify it so that we're focusing on what they can do and what's not, what they can no longer do. So things like that are important to boost self-esteem too. We also have a gentleman who has Parkinson's disease, who owned a contracting company for years and years and years. And one of the things our companion does with him is he takes him to Home Depot, and he's in his glory. His family doesn't want him anywhere near the power tools that he has a whole shed full of. But he can go to Home Depot and feel like this is part of him. This is part of his legacy. And so these are all things that I think we're very proud to be a part of as well.
Okay, I see we have about 10 minutes left. Thank you for the reminder. And absolutely, I would never encourage somebody to lose every single time, but I certainly don't want someone to win every single time, because then what fun is it to play?
Yeah.
I play Scrabble. My friends don't like to play with me anymore because I always win. I'm too competitive. Seniors want to share their wisdom. They want to be able to give that to somebody, share with them what they do. I started a weekly email, and I'm going to start highlighting companions. One of them hatches butterflies. She has a whole bunch of chrysalids right now. So I'm going to start sharing that, what they do, so they can kind of say, this is a piece of me. Another one makes beautiful homemade cards, and they're just beautiful. So if I share what she's doing with everyone else, she's going to feel really good about herself. Not only do I appreciate it, but other people are going to be like, wow. And it is a talent. It's not me just blowing smoke. She seriously does a beautiful job. So something I can do to make her feel good about herself is to share her talent with others. All right, sorry, next slide. Did we do this one yet? Mm-hmm. Yeah, next slide. All right, self-actualization. This is the very tip-top of the pyramid. I can honestly say I don't feel like I've ever experienced self-actualization. To me, this is like that thing where you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, where everything, I think we all have occasional moments of like, this is where I'm supposed to be in life right now. This is exactly, what my life is about. Late adulthood is where I think most people can find this. People know who they are. They know their abilities. Sometimes the frog needs to just do frog stuff. The wind does wind stuff. People just need to know what they are meant to do. And I think at seniors' age, they do know that. And I think it's wonderful to be able to recognize and share. Anybody want to share more about maybe a personal experience with self-actualization, or how you feel about that topic? Because for me, I truly think that it's something that we just get glimpses of. It's not like a status that you can maintain. But that's just my personal feeling. How do you feel we can work with self-actualization and the clients that we serve? All right, that was, is that, there's got to be a better way to do this. Participants, any chat? Do you see chat? I see nothing in the chat. All right, everybody doesn't like self-actualization as much as me. Cool. Let's see what else we got. Some fun stuff. I thought that was pretty funny with the babies. Focus on what you need to start with. You'll get there. And now we're down in the base needs with these babies. They just need to figure out how to meet their base needs before they can go on. Let's see. Maslow's theory is that we spend our entire life trying to satisfy the needs at each step and then moving to the next. We know that as we age, our function is going to decline. Or when we encounter injury, illness, or the death of a loved one, we can metaphorically fall down these stairs. With the death of a loved one, we might fall down all the way down to step number 3 because of our need for friendship, family, and intimacy. It's now unfulfilled. If I lose my father to COVID, it would be devastating. I can say I won't feel good about myself. I'm going to be focusing on the safety of, family members. I'm going to be worrying about my relationships. I'm going to be worrying about things that I wasn't worrying about previously. Same with a devastating illness. And I mean, at some point, so like my dad could be, and I'm sorry, he is sick in the hospital right now. So he could be at the self-esteem, but when this happens, he's all the way back to trying to just breathe again. He's trying to meet his base needs. So he might have been up this, but now he's back down here. We all move constantly through the spectrum. But happy volunteers stay. And that's the most important thing, is to really look at how, again, going back to motivation, how can we retain people? We can retain them by motivating them and giving them tools to meet their base needs. All right, we've had some chats. Let's peek at the chat. Helping older people. It's okay to get older, and this still needs important. Validating them, absolutely. Our society doesn't place the importance on our seniors, and it's just wrong. Creativity. What are you giggling about?
Feels like it would be easier to be a frog or the wind.
Ribbit.
And that's okay too.
Yeah, women, help them to glory in their aging process. Stop coloring our hair. Stop trying to be that person. Let's see, and I feel like there was a question in the question box. Nope, that's all done. All right. So, what do we have on here? So let's talk about, why do volunteers leave? In order to volunteer, they need to be valued. They have to see the results of their work. Motivation can be positive or negative, and I'm going to start going faster because we are wrapping up. Positive motivation to me is the only way to do things. If somebody tells me that if I don't, hold on, if I don't finish this presentation, then you're all going to hate me. That would be a negative motivation. Whereas a positive motivation might be, we all know, if I do this, maybe my boss will give me a raise. I'm joking, that's not going to happen. But what can we do to positively motivate people? I personally hate negative motivation. I don't like being threatened. I don't like being cornered. What can you guys do? What can we do to motivate our staff in a positive way? And I just keep losing it. Open it. All right. Regarding retention, a few years ago, we underwent a merger and lost several long-term volunteers due to lack of work. What could I have done as many of their tasks went away? I know that right now, even though we are temporarily shut down or suspended, we are finding things to do. Like I said, if we couldn't do I don't know what's going on with the computer. They might not be able to visit in person, but we have them making phone calls. If they can't make phone calls, can you write a letter? Just trying to, and myself even here, I'm super busy because I'm finding other ways to do the job. I don't know, if there was funding to find for something for them to do, I always can find something. But that's just because we're always behind. Give awards, tokens of thanks based on the number of hours volunteered. Wonderful. Mm-hmm. I used to be a fundraiser for muscular dystrophy, and I had some telemarketers that made outbound calls. So I started a very simple, can't think of the word, motivation tool where every week they got whoever had the most referrals and showed up on Monday and Friday, because I was notorious for calling out on Mondays and Fridays. I had $25 gift cards every week. They could choose it to go to sometimes I got them to the liquor store. Most of them were young adults. Sometimes I got it for the grocery store, and they could pick from the basket whichever one they wanted. So that way, they all wanted to win $25 at the end of the week, and I wanted them to show up for work and get as many referrals as possible. Volunteer market basket gift cards, fantastic, because that way they can purchase what they need. Gas gift cards, yep. We did that. Our problem is we cover the whole state. So the gas stations that are in Portsmouth aren't necessarily the same gas stations in Berlin. So ran into issues. I found that just wasn't convenient for our program as much as I want to do it. Next time I'm going to have to look into different gas cards, because how helpful is it if the nearest one is an hour's drive? Something I hadn't thought about. All right. Where are we? Again, negative motivation. I don't like it. More negative. All right, where are you? Some additional things to consider. Things change. Situations happened. 6 months ago, how many of us would have imagined that we were walking around wearing masks every single day? It's unfathomable the way our society has changed. And it's just something that it's our new normal, and we're going to figure it out together. All right, chat box. I know that we're getting close to the end. So let's see, let's wrap this up. What else do we have? Anybody have any final thoughts or things that they want to share regarding utilizing? It's really, this is just to get thinking about your own program and thinking about starting with your base needs and where are you people? How can you help them? What can you do to help them maintain their physical safety? Greetings without a handshake. Absolutely. I hate hugs, so I'm living large right now. Oh, a museum membership. I love that. That's a really interesting, unique, motivating tool. Prepaid gas cards.
I know that our volunteers have been really enjoying, unless they're being sarcastic, all of the mail they've been receiving from us. It seems now that COVID has hit, we've been using snail mail more than ever. And they've been saying they enjoy getting the mail from us. So I know that's something that we might not think about, but an idea, very basic idea.
Amazon gift cards, yep, that way they can purchase anything that they need. That's a really great idea. We did Walmart ones this year. Again, don't tell them. T-shirts with the company logo. I personally love logoed things. And even though some of the companions like, I won't wear it. I said, why won't you wear a logo T-shirt? She said, because I don't want to have to explain to somebody what I do. It's not that I don't like what I do. I love what I do, but I just don't want to have to interact with others. And that's fair. She's just not the kind of person that wants to have a conversation with a stranger.
We've also gotten referrals from t-shirts that have our phone number on them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Thanks, Teresa. See ya. Mailing thank you cards and sending emails. Yep, that's what we're doing too. That's what we're doing too. So this was really just a discussion to kind of look at your own program, to think about, you know, if you use this tool, you know, how can it impact you? There's no right or wrong answers. This was just a fun discussion to get thinking. Here's our contact information: email, phone, address. You need anything else, just reach out.